But for now, I wanted to go to the Middle East. The ceasefire is holding there now after the conflict was instigated, as you know, 11 or 12 days ago by Hamas terrorists starting to fire thousands of Iranian-supplied rockets indiscriminately at Israeli civilians. But as I've showed you before, watching or listening to the ABC, when they cover this issue, you'd swear that Israel was the instigator and the aggressor.
The Israeli military carried out early morning raids, saying it destroyed 15 kilometres of tunnels used by Hamas, as well as destroying the homes of 9 Hamas commanders, while Palestinian militants have responded, firing more rockets into Israeli cities.
Israel is continuing its bombardment of Gaza City, launching a series of airstrikes over the weekend, including a deadly attack on Sunday in which 42 people were killed. Hamas has retaliated by directing thousands of rockets into Israel.
There's a real sense of frustration and anger among Palestinians who gathered right around Israel and the occupied West Bank today to protest, not just against Israeli airstrikes over the Gaza Strip in the last week.
Yeah, those poor bloodthirsty terrorists at Hamas having to retaliate to the Israeli bomb attacks on them. It's extraordinary. And over at the Tens, the project, they were taking as gospel assertions that Israel had lied about targeting only the terrorists.
If it's the same, if the claim is true, why aren't we seeing any Hamas actors on the ground killed or injured? I haven't seen any non-civilians running down the streets. The targets that is now we are seeing are only civilians.
Credit, though, to 9 and 7 for making it clear why Israel is defending itself.
But the Palestinians are also continuing their assault, at times with deadly effect. And Israelis are constantly running to bomb shelters amid the sound of sirens. The country's so-called Iron Dome defence system stops more than 90% of rockets from landing, but it's impossible to know where and when the missiles will get through.
This way is Gaza, this way is Israel's south, which has been absolutely pummeled by rockets sent over from the Gaza Strip in these last 7 days.
But too often, factual and no-nonsense reporting like that is the exception rather than the rule when it comes to the Middle East. As The Australian reported this week, dozens of Australian journalists, including many from the ABC, The Guardian Australia, The Age, The Sydney Morning Herald, The Saturday Paper, Crikey and SBS, have signed an open letter encouraging journalists to be advocates for the Palestinian cause and demanding they suffer no professional repercussions for doing so. 3AW host Neil Mitchell summarised the problem with this approach.
It's a privilege to be a journalist, but there's a responsibility too. You report the facts. You don't seek or demand sympathetic coverage for anybody in any dispute. Reporting facts to demand sympathetic coverage for one side in anything. They misunderstand the whole point of journalism.
Yeah, if there's a bias to be addressed on this issue, it's stemming the anti-Israeli slant, surely. Predictably, the journalists' union supported this campaign, proving once again that it values green left political causes over journalism.